what is the best way to continually market a debut single? And that is from Jackson Slater Official.
Jackson Slater Official. Yeah, this is an interesting one because we are still in this exhausting the creative. So I made a video. If you haven't seen this, it's on my YouTube. I think it's titled "I Changed My Mind About EPs." So a while back, I had a massive rant about EPs, and then that video went sort of semi-viral, and I started getting loads of people commenting on it, which then pushed it further. And I don't think I made my point clear enough, which is I'm not dead against EPs, but I am dead against EPs at the wrong time and how they're done. And people aren't thinking about why they're doing EPs. They're just going, that's the thing to do. So I made a second video, which I think is possibly the best video that I have made to help bands, which is about, it's about exhausting the creative. There's a difference between the Foo Fighters putting out an album and a newish band putting out an album purely because of the creative that you can get out of a new piece of music. So if the Foo Fighters come along and they release a single or an EP or an album, they have the experience and the network and the knowledge, and everyone knows who they are, the reputation, to be able to go and get on 1,000 radio stations to go and perform it. They also can get into 100 magazines, they can get onto 1,000 blogs, they can get onto 50 TV shows, probably 500 TV shows around the world. They can keep going before everyone says, I'm bored now, what's next? So you go until you exhaust that creative. Now, with a local band, in my head, there's no point in making that album if you're going to exhaust the creative in a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. So therefore, it's more important to break it down to a single, exhaust that creative, then move on to the next one. Exhaust that creative, move on to the next one. Because when you're in an up-and-coming band, you might be able to get into the odd magazine, you might be able to get onto the odd blog, you might be able to get onto local radio, but once that's done, it's not like you can go back the next week and the week after. So you're finding your level, and therefore it's better to have lots of small punches than one massive swing and hope for the best. In this instance, we're in the same thing. How do you keep on pushing a single? Well, I can give you two answers. Number one, you just keep hustling, bro. The old Gary Vaynerchuk, hustle, hustle, pushy, pushy, pushy. Yeah, brilliant. But at what point does your audience go, oh, enough with this song? I know the song. What's the next thing that you're going to do? So therefore, you're looking for new audiences. So if you can do that, great. If you can get out to new gigs, it's a new audience. If you can have some advertising budget to push it out there to new people, great, new audience. But if you haven't got that, if you haven't got those reasons to get that new single out, then the momentum of something new comes up and goes down again. As soon as it gets to the top, it comes back down, at which point you are starting to flog a bit of a dead horse, and people are the important people who are coming with you on your journey, your audience, they're the ones who are losing out. So what you're saying here is, I want to find new people to promote that single. New people, that's great. But what about the people who are with you? What about the people who are saying, I really like you. I really like your artist, you as an artist. I really like you as a band. If you're not saying, don't worry, here's the next thing for you, then what you're doing is you're not looking after that audience. And that's the audience that's going to win for you. You know, finding the new person and saying, have you heard the new single yet? Brilliant. But it's much like a business that isn't looking after their client base. They're constantly looking after finding new people. Sales, 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 sales. Unless you've got really good customer service, what you're doing is you're selling once and then it's into the void. That is fine if you do something once. If you're in a market where you just sell once and then you don't need their services again, it's not ideal, but it's fine. You don't do that with a band. You're saying, we're going to do another one in a month, or another one in 6 months, or another one in a year. We need you to come with us on this journey. So therefore, you've got to be looking after the audience. So yes, you can keep pushing it. Yes, you can find new little rabbit holes to go down to find new audiences to push it to. But if you are not looking after the bulk of the audience when they're actually hearing the song and saying, this is really good, what's next? If you're not looking after them, then I fear that the audience will dwindle and you will fail. What happens is you get a big spike. If you look at YouTubers that have a massive push for a certain period of time and then they drop off the radio, and you go and look at their figures, you can see the numbers dropping because they're not looking after the audience. That's the biggest thing when YouTubers start dropping. They're not looking after the audience. People leave. They just go, no, I'll go and find my fun and my entertainment elsewhere. Same thing with music. So the key to this, in my opinion, the key to this is how you are going to look after your audience with more content, with more new music, with more stories, with more of your journey and more of your story. That's the bit that people want, and in that is new music and how you release that.